Okay, in this one I want to go over something called a for each loop. So we talked about a for loop, and we've talked about while loops and do while loops. Probably the most useful one, except for maybe the for loop, is maybe even more useful than the for loop, is the for each loop. Um, and there's a couple ways to do this. So like if you have a website and you're using JavaScript to do things with the website and you're looking at like all the buttons on your page, it's a little bit different. But if you're not sort of like building a website, if you're building just a kind of a JavaScript program like I have been doing here, that's a different way to do it. So this isn't a complete, so there's a for each thing called for each. That's one way to make a for each loop. That's not the one I'm talking about right now. I'm just talking about a way to iterate through every single thing in a list. So I have a let my list equals a bunch of stuff, and I want to cycle through that. Well, there's a couple ways I could do that. I could say for I equal 0, for I less than my list dot length, increase I by 1 every pass, and console.log my list I. So whatever my list is, I'm going to spit out every element. Boom. What if these weren't numbers? What if they were random sort of letters? So A, K, W, U, T, whatever. So that will work the same. Boom. What if I wanted to say what number I was at? So I could say 1 I comma the ith thing of my list. Well, the 0th is A, 1 is K, 2 is W, 3 is U, 4 is T. So that iterates through my list. I could make it a sentence. I could say the item with the index. Oh, I need to put quotes around this. The item with the index, and then I'm going to attach to that I is, and I'm going to attach to that whatever the thing is. And then I'll put an exclamation point at the end. Okay, the item with the index 0 is A, the item with the index 1 is K, the item, bah, there you go. So you can do all that. This is what we call a for each loop, because it goes through it goes for each thing in the list we do something. Now it doesn't have to use those values or the index. It could just do kind of random things. So give me a random number. Console.log a random number. So this has nothing to do with the letter, nothing to do which spot I'm at. It's random every time. There, I got 5 random numbers. I could multiply that by 10. Boom. I could math.floor it. Ah, there we go. I got integers. So there you go. Well, there's other ways to do for each. I could say for I in my list. It's a nice short way to do it. I could say console.log what is I? Let's see. Well, it's the indices, so it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what I is. But what if I change it to of? So for I of my list. Well, now instead of the index, the position, it's going to give me the value. So when I run that, I get my letters. So this is a way to do a for each loop. If you have an array, I think I could put a word in here. So like wedding. Oh, it doubled the D. Okay, there we go. So I could have a word or an array, and it will cycle through everything I've got in this way. So this is very useful when you have lists that are constantly changing. So think about like a video game, and you've got some bad guys in the level, and every frame you're checking to see if you're bumping into a bad guy. But you can kill the bad guys and they go away, so your list is constantly changing. And maybe they're spawning too, so it gets shorter and longer all the time. But every frame you want to check to see if you're bumping into any one of them, so you cycle through the whole list every frame and you check, am I hitting, am I hitting, am I hitting? This is a for each loop. You can check everything in the list using a nice little thing like this. So they're pretty useful. So this is a for each loop. That's a few different ways to do it.